On the first day of my rebirth, I cut off my own penis and transformed myself into a plump, juicy female bug. I even enjoyed the pleasure of being a mother, all because in my previous life, countless swarms of bugs invaded Blue Star, and I was unfortunately infected by the Bug Queen while protecting my younger sister. After that, I used the Bug Queen's authority to protect my sister, and when she wanted to join the army fighting against the bugs, I did my utmost to help my sister become the supreme sword bearer. But I never expected, on the very day she achieved fame and success, she would raise a long knife and chop off my head. You're a monster, you're not him at all. My brother died 5 years ago, unexpectedly when I opened my eyes again. I had returned to 1 month before the doomsday broke out. I quickly picked up my phone to check the latest news. The most beautiful meteor shower in history appeared in the sky, attracting countless couples to take photos and commemorate it. But only I knew, these were not ordinary meteorites. They were ovaries thrown onto Earth by the alien bug swarms. In less than half a month, the bug swarm catastrophe would sweep across the globe. I walked out of the room and looked at that shiny fruit knife. It was already midnight. If I took this knife and broke into Lin Yu's bedroom, she, fast asleep, would be like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. But doing that would be too easy on her. The most important thing now was to find the bug swarm's nest as soon as possible, to become the ruler of the bug swarm again. Then build an invincible army. With the memories of my previous life, I soon found the nest of one of the bug queens. It was a huge bug covered in a beautiful exoskeleton. At this moment, the bug queen sensed the approaching danger and kept growling, trying to warn me not to approach. But for some reason, it looked already on the verge of death, about to die. So I skillfully found its most vulnerable spot, lifted the dagger and stabbed it hard. The bug queen immediately let out heart-wrenching screams. Just after successfully piercing through its flesh and blood completely, the bug queen's core like a ruby floated out. Seeing this, I didn't hesitate at all, and quickly swung the knife at myself again. My penis left my body with blood. I endured the pain and pressed that core against my chest. The bug queen's core seemed to come to life, and quickly merged with my body. At the same time, layers of white silk threads were released around me, turning into a cocoon and completely wrapping me inside. When the cocoon broke open again under the bright moonlight, a stunningly beautiful girl stepped out of it. As I felt the two soft mounds in front of me, I couldn't help but stretch lazily in comfort. At the same time, a system prompt sounded in my ears. Detected that the host has become the ruler of the bug swarm, successfully bound to the More Children, More Blessings system. This system will give you corresponding rewards based on the quantity and quality of your offspring. Come on, girl! The task of breeding the bug swarm is entrusted to you. Looking at the system prompt, I was utterly dumbfounded. No way, this More Children, More Blessings system. Is it just making me have babies all the time? Just thinking about having to mate with many males? My little face couldn't help but turn red. Fortunately, this bug queen didn't need to mate with males to reproduce. It only needed to devour different types of creatures, obtain their genes, and then it could continuously hatch bug eggs. Seeing this, I couldn't help but stretch my body. Sure enough, the female form had the best compatibility. In my previous life, to not make my sister worry, I always used the bug swarm's mimicry ability. But as a result, the compatibility between the two forms was extremely poor, and I couldn't exert the true power of a bug swarm. In this life, I decided to live only for myself, and build the strongest interstellar bug swarm, to rule over all. Just thinking about this, I turned my gaze to the corpse of the dead bug queen. This was the best nutrient for the bug swarm's reproduction. Then I wouldn't be polite. In the next second, 8 purple pig heads grew from my back. Then I climbed onto the bug queen's huge body fiercely. Immediately after, I opened my bloodthirsty mouth and took big bites. 2.5 days later, only a skeleton was left of the bug queen in front of me. I patted my round belly and burped contentedly, just thinking about having to breed baby bugs next. My little face turned red again. Although I had been a bug queen in 2 lives, this was the first time I would lay eggs. I turned my head to look around, and after confirming there was no aura of other creatures, I transformed into a huge bug queen about 5 meters tall. Then I found a comfortable spot and coiled up. At this moment, a warm current suddenly surged through my body. Countless bug eggs were scattered freely on the ground. I originally thought this process would be very painful, but on the contrary, it felt great while laying eggs. However, it also consumed a lot of energy at the same time. I can't hold on anymore. Having babies is really tiring. If this goes on, I'll break down. I don't know how long it took, but when I woke up again, the cave was already covered with snow-white bug eggs. At this moment, my mood was both nervous and excited. This feeling of being a mother for the first time was something I experienced for the first time in 2 lives. As the first batch of bug eggs hatched, a small spider crawled out of one of them. Soon, the originally snow-white bug eggs turned into groups of black little bugs in an instant. At the same time, a system prompt popped up in my mind, detected that the total number of your first batch of offspring is 1,314,520. Reward obtained: spider mother bloodline and a large number of evolution points. As the system prompt ended, I suddenly felt a heat wave, raging continuously in my blood vessels. When layers of old exoskeleton fell off my body, I obtained a brand new physical body. Then I quickly checked the system panel and found that my level had soared to LV9. At the same time, I also had 4 different types of skills. This was dozens of times stronger than when I first became the Bug Queen. In my previous life, just as I was still enjoying the pleasure brought by the increased power, voices of children appeared in my mind. "Mommy, Mommy, we're hungry, we want food." These voices weren't shouted out directly, but felt like a form of mental communication. I looked at the hungry lives at my feet and sneered. It's okay to be hungry. Aren't your younger brothers and sisters a sumptuous meal? Devour each other and become the strongest ones. My bug swarm only needs the strong. It doesn't need losers. I blinked my 8 scarlet eyes. The Bug Queen is the absolute authority for the bug swarm. Even if it means going to die, they can only obey obediently. The little spiders looked at each other for 2.5 seconds, then started killing each other in the nest. Soon, the air was filled with the sweet smell of bug blood. After half an hour of fierce fighting, of the original more than 100,000 little spiders, only more than 30,000 were left in the end. As I watched my sons feasting, my stomach also growled. I stretched out my claws and wiped the corner of my mouth. Now I need to find something to eat for myself too. Children, Mommy is going on a long trip. You stay here in the mountains and behave. When you're hungry, just find something to eat in the mountains casually. When I reached the roadside and turned on my phone, it showed that there was 1 week left until the doomsday. Currently, the bugs had just landed on Earth and were still in the incubation period. The authorities should have noticed some clues, but ordinary people still knew nothing about it. In order to consume a lot of protein to become stronger, and at the same time keep track of humans' current movements, I decided to take a taxi back to my original city. The driver's lewd gaze wandered over me constantly. After all, it was the first time he had met such a beautiful girl. The girl was like someone who had stepped out of a painting. Of course, I also noticed the uncle's gaze, and then blinked my eyes. Looking pitiful, I said, "Uncle, actually I ran away from home. I haven't eaten for days. Can you take me to your house to eat something?" "I can agree to any request you have." After saying that, I also pulled my collar down slightly. Hearing this, the driver uncle swallowed. This isn't very good, is it?" The uncle turned his gaze to the platform's recording and monitoring devices. So that's what he's worried about." I chuckled softly, took out my phone, and used the note function to type a line. "Uncle, don't worry. After you get home, I'll come find you myself." Seeing this, a smile finally appeared on the driver's face. "In that case, I really can't refuse you, can I?" 2 hours later, in a shabby residential area, I rearranged my clothes and said softly with a smile, "Thank you for the treat, Uncle." With that, I threw the skeleton in front of me directly onto the ground. No, clearly one person isn't enough to satisfy my appetite. Next, I need to figure out where to go for a big meal. Just then, a news bulletin popped up on the TV. Recently, the son of this city's real estate tycoon suddenly sold off all his family's assets and purchased a large quantity of supplies, attracting onlookers from passers-by. I quickly picked up my phone to check the details, only to find that this guy wasn't just buying supplies. He had directly monopolized the supply factories behind him. He even bought all the vegetable and fruit seeds, as well as large quantities of livestock and poultry, and more. It seems this guy is also a genuine rebirth. Copying the moves from novels might work. But what if the big villain also knows this trick and sets an ambush to catch you all in one go, and I'm that big villain who intercepts in advance? The big villain? It's hard to imagine how much flesh and blood evolution I'll absorb after eating the flesh he's stockpiled. But I didn't act immediately. I just need to wait until the last 2 days before the doomsday breaks out, then go to his door and take everything in one fell swoop. Only then can I maximize the benefits. So that night, I wandered around the square non-stop, holding an ice cream. In my previous life, I remembered there were many human traffickers here. As long as I find their hiding place, that will provide a large amount of flesh for purification. After all, in the early stages, as long as I stay and develop in the power grid park, even the military won't be able to do anything about me for a while. During my investigation, things didn't disappoint me. At this moment, the voice of an older sister came from behind me. "Little sister, are you here alone? Where are your family members?" Hearing this, I looked up at the woman in front of me and immediately put on a pitiful expression. I had a fight with my family and ran away from home alone. Now I don't have any money to go back. Hearing this, the woman nodded with a smile and said, "Little sister, don't be afraid. How about sister take you to find your parents?" I nodded with a smile, then followed her. It turns out, through the spider's special ability, I sensed that several men were following the woman. They were obviously her accomplices. But this time, they've messed with someone they can't handle. Excellent hunters often appear in the form of prey. After some small talk, I followed the woman into a white van. "Little sister, sister will take you home," she said, as she handed me a bottle of water and a piece of bread. "You've been away from home for so long. You must be starving, right? Why don't you eat something to fill your stomach first?" Hearing this, a cold laugh couldn't help but rise in my heart, but I still took the food. Although these things were all drugged, they had no effect at all on the mother of the bug swarm. Soon I pretended to feel sleepy and fell asleep. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself in a remote mountainous area. There were more than a dozen children around my age beside me, and the woman who had kindly helped me earlier now had a gloomy smile on her face. "Sister, please, let me go back." These children, who looked around 16 or 17 years old, started making a racket and a mess. Unexpectedly, a gunshot rang out across the mountain area. Sister Woman fired a shot into the sky, and the noisy crowd instantly fell silent. Then the woman shouted in a cold tone, "Now, we're already outside the country's borders. Don't count on going home anymore. If you don't want to die, then obey and do as you're told." In the next second, the woman turned her gaze to me, but strangely enough, while the other children were terrified, I didn't have the slightest look of panic on my face. "Little sister, what's your name?" "Sister, you can call me Xiaomo." Hearing this, the woman patted my head and said gently, "Xiaomo, you're the most obedient one in this group. From now on, you'll be in charge of these guys. If any of them try to run away, tell sister, and sister will give you money to buy candy, okay?" I nodded, putting on an obedient look. On the way to the Golden Triangle Park, I whispered to these children, "Don't worry. After tonight, I'll take you back." The children listened to my words, some in disbelief. "Really? Thank you, sister. She can't even save herself. And she's promising to take us back? She's just drawing a pie in the sky." Soon, the scammers took the children to the park. After everyone was assigned to a new dormitory, I realized the Golden Triangle Park was extremely large. There were over 800 soldiers stationed here alone, plus the park owner and management. There were at least nearly 1,000 people in total. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but lick the corner of my mouth. Next, I should be able to have a full meal. Just as I was planning how to eat these scammers, the shabby dormitory door was suddenly knocked on. The woman pushed the door open and looked at me with a smile, saying, "Xiaomo, come with sister to see something good." I tilted my head in confusion. "Something good? What good thing?" "You'll know when you come." Soon, the two of us arrived inside a cave entrance. And inside it, I actually sensed a strange aura. It was the scent of the bug swarm. But just as I was feeling confused, the woman suddenly kicked me from behind. "Go to hell with you." But my figure didn't move at all. It felt like she had kicked a steel plate. At this moment, the woman only felt a sharp pain spreading through her leg. It turns out, although I look like a human girl on the surface, my body is actually a perfect fusion of the bug swarm, plus my current LV9 level. Killing an ordinary person is as easy as stepping on an ant. I pretended to be confused and looked at her. "Big sister, what's wrong with you?" Hearing this, the woman forced a calm expression and waved her hand. "Nothing, nothing." "Right, there's really something good inside." "Little sister, go in and take a look quickly. Hard methods won't work. So try soft ones." She planned to trick me into going in. Unexpectedly, this trick actually worked. After listening, I really walked into the cave obediently. This girl is really stupid beyond belief. Well, whatever. As long as the sacrifice for tonight is delivered, it's fine. Of course, I knew what the woman was planning. On the way here, I had already noticed countless squirming larvae in the shadows. In the eyes of these ferocious bugs, Human flesh and blood are their best nourishment. When I walked straight to the deepest part of the cave, I finally found a huge bug that was completely black, like a giant moth. However, when its gaze fell on my eyes, it realized that the aura of the girl in front of it was even more terrifying. At this moment, a data panel appeared in front of me. When I saw that devouring could increase egg-laying efficiency, I immediately felt excited. With the more children, more blessings system plus this skill, the more I give birth, the more rewards I'll definitely get. So just as the moth was still confused, my facial features began to twist. Immediately after, I also transformed into a huge mother bug. Before the giant moth could react, I opened my bloodthirsty mouth and bit down directly. The giant moth never thought until its death that it would one day be eaten by its prey. The other small bugs sensed something was wrong and frantically tried to escape the cave. Little did they know, a huge spider web instantly blocked the cave entrance. If you want to run, then I won't be polite. On the other side, in the office of the Golden Mountain Park, a man wearing sunglasses sat upright on a sofa. A snow leopard was crouching beside him. He stared at the woman with cold eyes and asked, "How's the sacrifice for today?" Hearing this, the woman replied respectfully, "Everything is arranged." But just then, the snow leopard suddenly let out a howl. General Ajin immediately pointed at it and shouted angrily, "Snow leopard, shut up!" But as soon as he finished speaking, Ajin suddenly felt a dizzying spin. This was the feeling of a mental link being forcibly severed. It turned out that the mother bug who had given him her core was actually dead. Seeing this, General Ajin slapped the woman across the face. "What the hell did you take to feed Lord God?" The young woman was left stunned after being slapped by Ajin, boss. What on earth happened? "You've killed Lord Deity." Upon hearing General Ajin's words, the young woman was instantly dumbfounded. No way. How is that possible? At these words, General Ajin let out a cold laugh. "Go check the situation at the cave right now. If you don't, I'll beat you to death this instant." Left with no choice under General Ajin's coercion, the young woman could only stumble toward the target. Meanwhile, inside the cave, after I finished eating all the small bugs in the cave, I finally started savoring that big fluttering moth slowly, crunchy with every bite. It was absolutely amazing. Soon a new skill appeared on my status panel. The Broodmother Reproduction Talent. It boosts the efficiency of egg laying. However, I didn't choose to lay eggs immediately, because I need to eat everyone in the compound first, to avoid being ambushed during the vulnerable egg-laying period. When I came out of the cave, I realized the outside was a mountainous area with complicated terrain. The people tricked here had no way to escape. Luckily, halfway there I saw the young woman's figure, but the moment she saw me, she was almost scared to death. "How are you still alive?" To prevent her from noticing anything suspicious, I quickly came up with an explanation. "Miss, here's what happened. As soon as I entered the cave, I found it full of bug remains. There was nothing else there, but it was terrifying." The young woman was shocked. "You mean all the bugs inside were dead when you went in?" I wouldn't lie to a fellow comrade. After the mutation, I could lie without blinking an eye. But she clearly didn't believe me and followed me back into the cave. When she saw the ground was indeed covered with remains, the young woman muttered to herself in horror. "Why did this happen?" But who knew when she looked up? She suddenly saw my head twist 360 degrees in an instant, staring fixedly at her. The young woman was so scared that she wet herself. I suddenly remembered, when I eat a human, I gain all their memories. If that's the case, why go through all this trouble? At these words, the young woman's body couldn't stop trembling. "Xiaomo, what are you even talking about? Don't you get it? I'm the one who ate everything here." With that said, I opened my bloodthirsty maw and lunged at her. Later, on a mountain path, I walked along with a look of discomfort on my face. Why did this lady taste so bad? Her appearance was all thanks to high-tech plastic surgery. Not only was her face filled with hyaluronic acid, even her chest was padded with silicone. And so I made my way back to the compound. From the memories I gained from that woman, she seemed to be loyal to someone named Ajin. That General Ajin was obviously the owner of the compound. Now my goal was crystal clear. After eating all the bad people in this compound, I would keep my promise and send all the children back home. At the thought of this, I couldn't help but lick my lips. Hehe, my dear midnight snack. Here I come. But along the way, the ground was covered with corpses. Some appeared to be victims abducted here, while others were soldiers from the compound. At this moment, General Ajin roared loudly in high spirits. and the snow leopard beside him howled at the sky. Huh? So human flesh and blood can also enhance strength. If that's the case, then the bug's lives or deaths no longer matter. With that, he turned his gaze to a white-haired girl. Among all these dead people, there are your friends. Why do you look so angry? The military troops hiding in the dark, ready to ambush, were confused. One of them, a special forces soldier named Su Huir, looked extremely nervous. Isn't that girl walking to her death? It seems another victim is about to appear. However, what I said left everyone dumbfounded. You killed all these people? Don't you know that living food is fresher? How am I supposed to eat now? At these words, Nicotine Ajin took a slow drag from his cigarette. After all, as a powerful ability user, he had no reason to take the girl seriously. As I looked at Ajin, a murderous intent appeared on my face. Nicotine Ajin, today is your last day alive. But in the next second, I was instantly shocked. I saw that General Ajin was also at level 9, and he even had 5 powerful skills. Skill 1, Innocent Eyes, which possesses a wild beauty, and can see the opponent's movements clearly. It can even predict the future within 3 seconds. Skill 2, Animal Friend. When appearing together with the summoned snow leopard, it increases strength by 40%. Skill 3, 4-character True Word. Chanting the true word "fuck you" can greatly suppress the opponent's strength. Skill 4, Electronic Mist, releases the smoke of Rick 5, which can be used as an attack method or as a smoke bomb to confuse the enemy. Skill 5, Rick Armor, the ultimate trump card of the reformists. Fusing with Rick Smoke, transforming into Rick Armor, it can greatly increase one's defense. Looking at his abnormal status panel, I couldn't help but exclaim in shock, "Didn't you share the big fluttering moth's abilities? Why are your skills and stats so much better than that thing's?" At these words, Nicotine Ajin instantly realized something was wrong. "Have you really seen that moth with your own eyes?" But before he could finish speaking, I teleported right in front of him. Then I threw a punch and sent him flying. The terrifying force smashed a deep crater in the ground. At this moment, Ajin felt like his internal organs were shattered. He never expected this white-haired girl to be so powerful. Why is there another awakened one here? As Ajin spoke, he quickly activated his innocent eyes. Soon, the other's terrifying aura was fully revealed. It was a spider queen, several meters in size, looking both terrifying and beautiful. At the sight of this, he immediately knew something was terribly wrong. He had no desire to fight at all, so Ajin immediately shouted to his pet, Snow Leopard, "Let's go!" At these words, the snow leopard immediately picked up Ajin and fled. Watching the prey that was almost in hand, about to escape, I rushed forward in a single leap. But I didn't expect the snow leopard to be so fast. It disappeared from my sight in the blink of an eye. With the crisis over, the girl named Su Huir stepped forward to strike up a conversation. That was amazing. Are you an awakened one too? A strong person like you who's willing to uphold justice is really rare, no matter what. I have to thank you on behalf of all the soldiers. If you hadn't appeared in time, all of us would probably have died. At these words, I had no desire to make friends with her at all. After all, she had witnessed the entire battle just now. If word got out, it might bring all sorts of trouble. But in the next second, the girl immediately saluted me. My name is Su Huir. I'm an agent of the Special Operations Team of the 9th Military Region. Next. In order to recruit a powerful ability user like me, she insisted on offering me a spot as an external member. Not only would I not have to report my movements at all times, but I could also receive various commissions and resources. Considering that the military satellites were hovering overhead at all times, I had no choice but to nod and agree to join. This would also make it easier to gather intelligence on the military region, in order to devour all the corpses in the compound. I casually made up an excuse and explained, "My ability requires devouring flesh and blood to grow stronger. So Comrade Jir, please let me handle these corpses." Although Su Huir was a capable agent, she didn't notice anything unusual about me at this moment. Instead, she warmly left her contact information and led her team away. Soon, 2.5 hours later, I patted my full stomach and burped. Next, it was time to continue laying eggs and grow stronger. Even though this wasn't my first time having children, my cheeks still turned bright red. As expected, having little babies still makes an insect feel embarrassed. Soon, a warm current swept through my body, and one white egg after another gushed out. In an instant, the entire cave was almost completely flooded with eggs, and so I didn't know how much time had passed before I collapsed weakly onto the ground. Congratulations, you have hatched 5,201,314 offspring this time. You have received 1,314 evolution points as a reward. Since you have reached the level 19 bottleneck, you need to complete an advancement quest to receive rewards again. Before long, the little spiders in the cave hatched one after another. They all chattered in my mind, shouting, "Mom! Mom, we're hungry! We want food!" Listening to the poor little voices of my babies, I only sneered and threw out a sentence. If you're hungry, then eat. Eat 2 of your siblings to fill your stomachs. Only those who become the strongest among the swarm are qualified to be my children. With that, I left without looking back and headed to the original city. Along the way, an advancement quest popped up. Devour the cores of 3 brood mothers from other swarms. Complete the quest to break through your current level and receive extremely generous rewards. Looking at the quest in front of me, I couldn't help but frown. After all, other brood mothers were also hiding and developing. It would be quite difficult to track down their whereabouts. Forget it, I'd better think about where to stay tonight first. But I had no money on me right now, so I couldn't stay in a hotel at all. So I had a sudden idea. Took out my phone and called Su Shuir. "Xiaosu, do you have a cheap and comfortable place for me to stay overnight?" Upon hearing this, Su Shuir immediately replied excitedly, "Yes, Sister Mo, yes, you can stay at my place. It's just a small, ordinary apartment. Can you accept that, Sister Mo?" Originally, Su Shuir thought that people with superpowers were arrogant and would disdain living in such an ordinary place. The next second, a response came from the other end of the phone, Xiao Su. "You're willing to take me in? That's great!" Before long, I arrived at Su Shuir's apartment. Unexpectedly, the awkward thing was that her place only had 1 bed. Originally, I was a man in my previous life, so I planned to make do with sleeping on the sofa for one night. But ever since Su Shuir saw me, her eyes had been sparkling. She couldn't understand why 2 girls would sleep separately. Could it be that Sister Mo hated her? Seeing her about to cry, I could only tilt my head in confusion and ask, "Do all girls have to lie together to prove their friendship?" At this moment, Su Shuir's cheeks were bright red. She didn't care about all those trivial things at all. "If Sister Mo doesn't mind, then Sister Mo can sleep with me in bed tonight. Don't worry, it's very soft," she said. Then I was half pushed and half dragged into the room. No one knew what happened that midnight. Early the next morning, Su Shuir arrived at the military base with a radiant face. The leader of the military region's special operations team was named Yan Liang. He was very wary of the suddenly appearing white-haired girl. "Agent Su, from what I know, that awakened one is now at your home. Regarding this girl named Lin Mo, don't you think it was too coincidental that she appeared in the Golden Triangle area during yesterday's operation?" Upon hearing this, Su Shuir tilted her head in confusion. She almost got killed by Ajin, and if it weren't for that sister's appearance, she would have died long ago. Thinking back to what happened last night, Su Shuir's heart was pounding, and she had no intention of thinking that I had ulterior motives. "I think there's nothing wrong with Lin Mo. She's just a very powerful ability user. I can guarantee this. With her strength, if she had wanted to kill us, everyone in our team would have died for sure." Yin Liang looked at the report in his hand and said meaningfully, "Real villains all know how to play the long game. Su Shuir as an agent, your abilities are indeed outstanding, but you're still far behind when it comes to cunning. You don't have the qualities a real agent should have at all. Forget it, I'll personally arrange for someone to investigate that awakened one. As for you, go solve this serial murder case first. The file says that the bodies of more than a dozen teenagers were all hollowed out. The military infers that it's very likely the work of the Zerg." After Su Shuir took the file bag and turned to leave, a little lowly walked out from behind Yan Liang. "Dad, I want to eat Sister Xiaosu." With that said, the lowly's eyes glowed red, and the corners of her mouth stretched to the back of her ears in a weird arc. Upon hearing this, Yan Liang gently patted the lowly's head affectionately. "Not yet. Wait until Dad finds out the identity of that awakened one. Then you can eat her, okay?" But the lowly immediately opened her mouth wide and shouted unhappily, "Dad won't let me eat." "Sister Xiaosu, Dad is bad? I hate you." Yan Liang narrowed his eyes, his expression solemn. The other party's real identity is extremely dangerous. If we act rashly, we'll probably get ourselves into trouble. So he could only comfort her tonight. "Dad will take you to eat a big meal to satisfy your craving. Okay?" Upon hearing this, the lowly finally showed a happy smile. "That's right. Dad is the best to me." On the other side, to investigate clues about the brood mother, I directly took Su Shuir's hand and set off. During this time, A small flower in Sushir's heart was quietly blooming. Soon, the two of us arrived at the residential building of one of the victims. "Police, open up!" I pressed the doorbell and shouted at the top of my voice. After opening the apartment door, the person who came out was a girl who looked very cute. Sushir couldn't help but squat down, patted her head and asked little Wei Wei, "Where are your parents?" But the little girl only shook her head and didn't say a word. Instead, she stared at me with a terrified expression. This action made Sushir very confused, but only I knew what she was afraid of. At the same time, the little girl's detailed information popped up in front of me. Unexpectedly, on my first try, I found a clue about the broodmother, but I didn't rush to expose the little girl's identity. Instead, I walked up to Wei Wei and slowly squatted down. Seeing this, the little girl was so scared that she wet herself. Her whole body was trembling too much to speak a word. It was only because the aura the other party emitted was a soul-deep racial suppression. Seeing this, I could only restrain my aura and comfort her, little friend, don't be afraid. Sister isn't a bad person. Seeing that the two of them had no intention of harming her, little lowly Wei Wei finally relaxed slowly. She asked, "Two big sisters, are you here to investigate what happened to my sister?" As she spoke, she respectfully handed over a cup of tea. I glanced at the teacup in my hand, then drank it all in one go. Then I looked at the little lowly and asked knowingly, "Where are your parents? Why are you the only one left?" The little lowly stammered, unable to speak a complete sentence for a long time. I don't know. Since my sister had the accident, Mom and Dad haven't come back. I looked at her with a half smile. In that case, let's go check other places. As I spoke, I took Shir's hand and slowly left, but just as the little lowly secretly breathed a sigh of relief, the next second, I suddenly turned around and said, "Great, I can finally survive!" That's what you're thinking, right? As soon as these words were spoken, the two of them were instantly stunned, but I didn't say anything more. Instead, I casually picked up the fruit knife on the table, then suddenly stabbed it into the lolly's chest. The girl immediately showed an expression of disbelief. Sushir, who had always liked children, even shouted out loud, "Sister Mo, what on earth are you doing?" Haha, oops. But before she could finish speaking, the next second, the lowly's skull was pried open. Take a good look at what this really is. As I spoke, I looked at Sushir, and at the same time, a happy smile curled up at the corner of my mouth. In the place where a human brain should have been, there was actually a ferocious and terrifying, twisted-shaped bug. It was probably similar to the facehugger from the movie Alien. When Sushir saw this, she was so scared that she wet herself. It turned out she had been chatting with such a monster just now. It seemed the Zerg's camouflage ability was really strong. At this moment, the bug kept making giga hissing sounds. Seeing this, I put the lowly's skull back on, feeling the fatal threat. The little lowly immediately put on a pitiful look. "Sister, please spare me." Upon hearing this, I didn't care at all. I snapped at the brain bug. "Tell me the exact location of your brood mother. As long as you take us there, I promise to spare your life. How about it?" But the little lowly shook her head violently in fear. No, if I do that, I'll die." I looked at her with cold eyes and threatened fiercely. "You'd rather die than reveal the brood mother's location? You really are a filial child." With that, I raised the fruit knife again and pressed it against her forehead. "You have 5 seconds to think. After 5 seconds, there will be a dish called bursting bug brain." The lowly cried bitterly and shook her head again. Just as I was counting down, the brain bug suddenly abandoned the lowly's body, then bounced out of the window. Seeing this, Sushir wanted to chase it immediately, but I stopped her. The moment the brain bug revealed its true form, I already put a tracking device on it. Finding its location will be a piece of cake. But how could Sushir know that the tracker was actually an almost invisible thin thread? As long as it returns to its lair, I can locate it accurately. At the same time, in a certain luxury villa area, a teenager was sitting in the study, doing his homework. On the surface, he was Akai, the mayor's only son, but no one could have imagined that this teenager, a rising star in politics, was actually the broodmother of the brainbug swarm. As the ruler of this alien race, the reason she chose to possess the mayor's son this time was on one hand to freely mobilize urban resources. On the other hand, she could use mental power to control the mayor and his staff. In this way, she could firmly control the entire city. In just 1 more week, the swarm will occupy the entire planet. By then, this city will become my hunting ground. Akai was originally daydreaming happily, but just then, a brain bug fled into the study in a panic. Mother! It's bad. I've been targeted by the special operations team. Luckily, I abandoned my physical body to escape with my life. Akai originally wanted to ask for details, but when he lowered his head, he suddenly noticed a nearly transparent thread still stuck to the other's forehead. Akai's face instantly turned extremely dark. You idiot, are you a pig? Damn it. This isn't escaping with your life. This is leading someone right to our door. Hearing this, the brain bug girl finally realized, I'm so sorry, Mother. In my panic, I really didn't notice. At this moment, Sushir and I had already arrived outside the villa area. We're from the 9th Military Region's Special Operations Team. Following orders from above, we've come to capture the monster. Hearing this, the old butler immediately knew something was wrong, but still tried to stall for time. The mayor did encounter a monster, but we've already captured it. However, I didn't believe a single word he said. I directly used the system to check his identity, and what I saw shocked me. I didn't expect it at all. He was actually a level 7 brain bug. His awakening level was much higher than the brain bug girl from earlier that day. Looking at the system prompt, I couldn't help but chuckle. Yeah, this is interesting. Listening to the white-haired girl's bell-like laughter, the old butler suddenly had a bad premonition in his heart. Miss, why are you laughing? I crossed my arms and snorted softly, glancing at that brain bug and the hairless brood mother, daring to escape to the mayor's house. Aren't we just catching a turtle in a jar? Isn't that right, old butler? Don't you agree with what I said? Hearing this, Steward Zhang Yuan nodded repeatedly. Yes, what you said is absolutely right. But in his heart, he scoffed. Hehe, didn't expect it? All the staff in the entire urban area have become brain bugs. Catching a turtle in a jar? We'll see who the turtle really is. Soon, the three of us arrived in the villa's lobby. There stood a man in his early 30s. The mayor looked at the two of us and smiled softly. You two agents have come a long way. You must be tired. But we've already captured the monster, so you don't have to worry about it. Sujuir took out her ID and report with a serious face. Dealing with this monster is the responsibility of our special operations team, even if you're the mayor. You can't handle it privately. The mayor spread his hands, a cold glint flashing in his eyes. So you're determined to take it away? Just as the two were locked in a tense standoff, the containment box holding the brain bug was suddenly torn apart. Then the brain bug charged at Sushir at high speed. At this critical moment, I only gently squeezed with one hand. The brain bug exploded and died on the spot. Green juice splattered all over the floor. I casually grabbed a tissue from the table, but soon noticed the mayor's detailed information. Name, Chen Gay. Bloodline, Human Awakened One. But strangely, all his data was encrypted. There was no way to detect his true strength. I didn't expect there would be a Human Awakened One who chose to join the Zerg. Since I came out of the mountains these days, this is the first time I've felt a sense of danger. However, it was clear that the other party was still plotting some earth-shattering secret, which was why he didn't attack Sushir and me on the spot. Chen Ge then put on a half-smiling expression and asked, that was really close. That monster almost attacked Agent Su. Since you two agents have already killed this monster, you can wrap up and go back to report, right? Sushir still wanted to say she would continue investigating here, but I nodded and quickly pulled her away. That scared me to death just now. If that bug had successfully attacked, I would have definitely died. As she spoke, the girl looked at me with relief. Sister Mo, thank you. You really kept your promise and protected me. Hearing this, I looked out the window distractedly. The fact that I didn't get to see the brain bug's broodmother really annoyed me, but it was obviously unwise. To confront Chen Gay and the others head-on, it seemed I needed to find a way to get more help. Later, after Sushir drove me back to the apartment, she took the brain bug's corpse to her superiors in the 9th Military Region. And while she was away, I hurried to the cave where I first laid eggs. Unexpectedly, in just a few days, the little spiders had already grown to over 1 meter tall. I gently stroked the spiders that crowded around me, a look of maternal tenderness in my eyes. I asked while Mom was away, "Did you all eat well?" Hearing this, the spiders replied in unison. There were a lot of couples coming to take photos on the mountain before, but we ate them all alive. Seeing this, I nodded in satisfaction. Public displays of affection lead to early deaths? Interesting. I looked at my spider offspring and gave another order, children. You're all grown up now. It's time to enhance the strength of our entire swarm. Enter the city. Find the members of other swarms. Kill them and eat them! As I told the other spider offspring to leave, I waved to one of the white spiders. When the white spider saw this, it obediently walked over. Mother, you called me? In fact, when I first returned to the cave, I had already checked the attributes of my offspring briefly. While the other spiders developed normally, this white spider was exceptionally gifted. It had even broken through to level 9 by devouring its own kind. If I could train it to be a capable assistant, it would make expanding the swarm much easier in the future. So I handed a core to the spider in front of me. Eat this and see what happens. Soon, a flash of white light streaked by. The white spider immediately began to transform and spin a cocoon. Then it broke out of the cocoon and turned into a cute little girl with white hair. Her voice and appearance were very similar to mine. She was practically a carbon copy of my younger self. At the same time, her level also broke through to level 13. She even inherited all my skill talents. I patted my daughter's head. With a relieved smile, I said, "From now on, your name will be Lin Shui. When I'm not around, could you help me take care of your sisters?" The white-haired lowly clung to my hand. Whimpering, she said, Mom, hug me." I ruffled Lin Shui's little head, gently lifting her up in my arms. "Okay, here's a hug." As I spoke, I held Lin Shu and hailed a ride-hailing car. Then we returned to Su Shui'er's apartment. On the other side, in the office of the 9th Military Region, Su Shui'er held up a containment box with the remains of a brainworm inside. Then she placed it in front of team leader Yan Liang. Team leader. This is the monster we found during our investigation. The people who went missing before were probably attacked and eaten by this monster. As she spoke, she reported the previous events in detail. Yan Liang looked at the containment box in front of him. He neither agreed nor disagreed. After remaining silent for 2 seconds, he turned to Su Shui'er. He asked, "That white-haired girl by your side, what's her background?" Sister Mo never told me about her, and I didn't feel right asking. Aren't the awakened ones in our special operations team more or less mysterious anyway? Is there really a need to dig into it so deeply? Yan Liang frowned slightly. Then he let out a long sigh. A while ago, I already sent someone to investigate her, but the result was her file was as clean as a blank sheet of paper. It was as if she had popped out of nowhere, like she didn't exist before at all. At the same time, there was also a boy named Lin Mo who went missing, but their appearances are completely different. They can't possibly be the same person. Thinking about this, Yan Liang became even more curious about my identity. Combined with the frequent disappearances in the mountains recently, Yan Liang speculated, she might also be a powerful figure from one of the insect swarm factions. If she really is from the insect race, then she should understand the rule of first come, first served. Su Hui'er was the target my daughter set her sights on first. I can't let anyone snatch her away first. Thinking about this, Yan Liang looked at Su Shui'er. In a cold voice, he said, "Tell that Lin Mo to come see me alone tomorrow. If I think she's suitable, I'll agree to let her join the special operations team as one of the non-staff members." Upon hearing this, a look of joy immediately appeared in Su Shui'er's eyes. Finally, I can be colleagues with Sister Mo. Then she stood at attention, saluted and said yes. After reporting to team leader Yan, Su Shui'er drove away from the 9th Military Region. But not long after, when she got home, she saw the child version of Lin Mo and was instantly stunned. The same snow-white hair, the same fair skin, the same doll-like cute face. It was truly uncanny. "Sister Mo, where is the child's father?" After spending time together these past few days, Su Shui'er had completely come to trust me from the bottom of her heart. She even made up an 80,000-word story of love and hatred in her mind, and was ready to help me get rid of that scumbag who abandoned me after using me. Upon hearing her question, I casually replied, "The child's father is probably sitting in jail right now. Or maybe he's already been executed by firing squad, who knows? This child has never had a father since she was little. I raised her all by myself. If you're not comfortable with this, Xiaosu, then I'll move out and find another place to stay." Upon hearing this, a look of sympathy appeared on Su Shui'er's face. She quickly said, "I don't mind at all. From now on, Sister Mo's child is my child. I'll treat her as my own." As she spoke, she happily hugged Lin Shui. Su Shui'er didn't mind being the child's stepmother at all, but she wasn't sure if I was okay with it. I nodded, and a smile appeared on my face. "Then thank you, Xiaosu. You're really such a kind person." Su Shui'er happily pulled me into a hug. Then she buried her cheek against me and nuzzled gently. But when Lin Shui saw this, she didn't like it at all. She raised her little hand and grabbed the corner of Su Shaer's clothes. "Mom is mine! Don't you steal her! Oh, you little one!" "Are you even jealous of this?" Regarding this, I could only helplessly pat Lin Shui's head. Xiao Su is a very important person to Mom. You need to be polite to Auntie Xiao Su. The next morning, Su Xiaoer and I headed to the 9th Military Region to handle intelligence work. As for Lin Shui, she sat in front of the TV watching Animal World. On the screen, 2 spiders were mating. But not long after, there was a commotion in the apartment. Then several powerful ability users broke in. On the other side, in the office of the 9th Military Region, the leader of the Special Operations team was named Yan Liang. When I opened my system, I realized he was also a level 19 ability user, and he had awakened the Mythic Class King of Hell ability. His ability was far more powerful than Nicola's. At this moment, Yan Liang spoke first to break the awkward silence. "Lin Mo, you're actually from the insect race, aren't you?" Upon hearing Yan Liang's words, I instantly tensed up. Why would someone from the Special Operations team know my identity? Su Xier shouldn't know about this, right? Seeing that I still looked calm, Yan Liang spoke again. "My daughter is also one of the insect race's matriarchs. We're all from the insect race. I don't think there's any need for internal conflict. Zhuer was the target my daughter set her sights on first. If you're willing to give her up, we can form an alliance and cooperate. How about it? You have the right to refuse any proposal now, but your daughter will be in danger." As he spoke, Yan Liang took out his phone and looked at it closely. The image playing on the screen was actually Lin Shui being surrounded by several ability users in the apartment. At this moment, Yan Liang stared at me and sneered. Then he spoke those famous words. "Dear Mrs. Lin Mo, you wouldn't want anything to happen to your daughter, would you? As long as you lead the insect race to cooperate with us, I'll let your precious daughter go. How about it?" Upon hearing this, I stared at Yan Liang with a cold expression. Originally, I didn't mind cooperating with other insect race factions, but using my precious daughter as a threat was going too far. However, I wasn't the least bit flustered at the moment. It turned out that because Lin Jue had devoured the brainworm, she had automatically gained the mental illusion skill. Ability users below level 20 couldn't resist it at all. Go ahead and try threatening me, but first worry about whether your team members can survive. Then we'll talk. Upon hearing this, Yan Liang immediately felt that something was wrong. To prevent any accidents from happening to his team, he immediately used his Book of Life and Death ability. As long as he looked at the target's face and wrote their name in it, he could kill them instantly. Then he looked at Lin Shui and wrote 2 large characters. However, Lin Shui in the live feed didn't die. It turned out that Yan Liang's Book of Life and Death had certain limitations. It only worked on opponents with a level difference of more than 10 levels. Her survival meant that Lin Shui's strength was extremely impressive. To cut his losses in time, Yan Liang had to quickly pick up his phone to stop his team members. But little did he know it was already too late. Little did he know it was already too late by then. The apartment door slowly closed. Then a cute white-haired girl walked out from inside. The girl looked up at the trembling crowd, and a strange, eerie smile immediately appeared on her face. "Uncles and aunts. Hello there. Xiaozhu is feeling a little hungry right now. Let me take a bite. Just one bite, okay?" In a panic, the team leader quickly transformed into a Zubo person. Immediately after, 2 laser beams shot out from his eyes. But unexpectedly, Lin Shui's first body was a fake. Not only did she not die from this, she even turned into 3 identical lolis. The team leader, panicking to the extreme, didn't care about anything else. He directly shot and destroyed all the bodies, but as the image in front of him gradually faded, he realized that the ones lying on the ground were actually his own teammates, and the real Lin Shui had already appeared behind him. In the end, the entire Special Operations team was completely wiped out. "How's that, Team Leader Yan? My daughter is pretty capable, right?" Yan Liang looked at the phone screen, then at me. "You knew I was going to make a move against you all along, but I just smiled and shrugged. It's time to let your daughter come out. Otherwise, hiding like this must be tiring, right?" Soon, a 10-year-old lowly walked out from the shadows. But when I looked at the information in front of me, I was instantly shocked. Name, Yan Xiaoai. Bloodline, Hell Pig Matriarch. Level 25. Since the opponent's level is far higher than yours, the system cannot view the opponent's specific skills. But as I looked at the 2 of them, I didn't feel the slightest panic. Just now you sent people to kidnap my daughter, but being counterkilled should even things out. Now we can talk about cooperation. After witnessing his team being easily wiped out, Yan Liang didn't dare to act rashly anymore. Instead, he told Yan Xiaowai to make a cup of coffee for the woman in front of her. Let's talk about how to divide this city when the insect swarm apocalypse arrives in a week. Of course, I didn't actually want to cooperate. Instead, I was using the pretense of cooperation to kill with a borrowed knife. As long as they kill each other, I can become the final winner of this struggle. From what I know, there are 3 insect swarm factions in this city. My precious daughter and I count as 1. You and Mayor Chen of our city count as 2. Why don't we cooperate? Together, we'll kill Mayor Chen. Then divide all the resources of the entire city. What do you say? Yan Ling certainly knew my intention, but he didn't know the trump card of the woman in front of him. Moreover, once insect races fight, it's easy to fall into a deadly battle. Besides, the mayor is the strongest. He disdains cooperating with him and his daughter at all. Only by joining forces with the woman in front of him would they have a chance of winning. Let's take down Chen Gei and his group together. Seeing this, I nodded in satisfaction. But before I left, I also warned fiercely, Su Sher is my target. If you dare to make ideas about her again, I don't mind killing you two. Then dealing with Chen Gei alone. After going out, I pinched Su Shueyer's cheek. All right, Xiao Su, stop worrying so much. Sister passed the review. Your team leader Yan and I had a good chat. He even wants to cooperate with me later. Su Shueyer was a little surprised when she heard this. Did it really go this smoothly? Then I can stay with Sister Mo from now on. Come on, let's take Xiaozhu with us today. The 3 of us will go out for hot pot. I took Su Shueyer's hand and pulled her out. Her face was as red as an apple. Isn't this just a family dinner for 3? It's so embarrassing. Don't make me feel so awkward, okay? After eating the delicious hot pot, I asked Su Shueyer to take Shueyer and leave. But just as I was about to act with Yan Liang, the voice on the other end of the phone was that of a young man. Agent Lin, are you looking for team leader Yan? When I heard the voice on the phone, my heart skipped a beat. Wasn't this Chen Gei from the Brainworm faction? It seemed that the secret of our cooperation had just been leaked. Dear Agent Lin, I've captured your team leader Yan. He's still alive for now. Do you have time to meet and talk? I didn't even think about it and immediately refused coldly. After all, father and daughter were just pawns to me. After saying that, I planned to hang up the phone, then call my daughter and Su Shueyer to run away. But Chen Gei on the other end of the phone was very arrogant. Oh, I forgot to say, I also have your daughter and girlfriend with me. The next second, the voices of the 2 came from the phone. At this moment, Lin Chuo shouted angrily in dissatisfaction, You bad guys! Let me go! I'm going to kill all of you villains. On the other side, Su Shueyer's voice was also filled with grievance. Sister Mo, I'm so sorry. I couldn't protect Xiaozhu well. After that, Chen Ju's voice came from the phone again. Well, are you considering coming to meet me? But I still let out a cold laugh. Do you think I'll come to my death over such a trivial matter? I'll tell you. It's impossible. Chen Gei certainly didn't believe my lies. I'll give you 1 day. If you don't arrive by 12 o'clock tomorrow night, I'll kill both of them. But after the other party hung up the phone, I directly took a car to the subway station. I even bought a train ticket overnight and ran away on the spot. Lol, as long as the Green Hills remain, there will always be firewood to burn. As an insect matriarch, I just need to continue breeding more offspring, and I can keep breaking through, becoming the strongest ruler. And those 2 weren't worth me risking my life for. But just then, a cold voice came from behind me, leaving like this. Won't you feel sad? I quickly looked in the direction of the voice, only to see a white-haired girl walking slowly over. But she looked exactly like me. It turned out that since obtaining the skill feedback from Lin Shui, the mental interference had also produced side effects. The figure appearing in front of me was my own inner demon. But as long as I didn't waver in my heart, the inner demon couldn't do anything. Then I let out a light laugh. So what if I run away? Isn't the current situation the optimal solution? But the white-haired girl asked calmly, If you don't feel sad, then why are you crying? How is that possible? I quickly reached out and touched my cheek, and indeed felt a warm dampness, and the memory of the 3 of us gathering happily together flashed through my mind. Like a slideshow, seeing this I could only let out a long sigh, then tore the high-speed train ticket to shreds. The inner demon crossed her arms, looking disdainful. Oh? Changing your mind again? So you do care about them, don't you? Seeing this, I let out a cold snort, and insisted stubbornly, I, the ruler of the insect race, Can only run away with my tail between my legs after being threatened? If I really ran away today, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to hold my head up in the entire insect race in the future. I have to kill the enemy to stabilize my Dao heart. What do you know? Before long, I arrived at the villa area in a ride-hailing car, and Chen Gei was already standing at the door waiting. Ms. Lin Mo? I knew you'd come. There was a hint of killing intent in my eyes, and I asked, where are Lin Shui and Xiao Su? Upon hearing this, Chen Gei let out a soft sigh, then took out a remote control and turned on the TV screen. Fortunately, the screen showed that neither of them was injured. Ms. Lin, you're really impatient. Now that you've become a girl, wouldn't it be better to be a little more reserved? Upon hearing these words, a look of surprise immediately flashed in my eyes. Where did this guy get his information from? But just as I was about to speak, Chen Ge explained first, Lin Mo, in your previous life, you were clearly the insect race ruler, but you helped the federal government fight against the insect swarm, even killing the swarm will of the insect race. You're really someone who makes people both awe and admire. But I remember you always appeared as a man. In this life, have you finally accepted your identity as an insect matriarch? Could it be that you're also a rebirth? Chinkak nodded. After a moment, he spoke. Don't worry. I'm not your enemy. I immediately rolled my eyes at Chen Gei in annoyance. If you're not my enemy, why did you kidnap the people close to me? Lord Lin Mo. I was just joking with you. I just wanted to see what kind of reaction you would have when facing a life or death crisis. I didn't expect you to actually come back. I narrowed my eyes, crossed my arms, and asked again, what if I hadn't come back? What would you have done then? With my strength, it wouldn't be hard to find you. After saying that, he transformed into a girl with crimson hair. Under my shocked gaze, the system panel immediately popped up with the girl's attributes. Name, Chen Ge. Bloodline, Human Awakened 1. Awakened ability, Mythic Class Chaos. Awakening degree, 39%. Level, LV40. She also had 5 different types of skills attached. At this moment, everything came back to me. In my previous life, Chen Gei was a little girl I had saved by accident. Later, she became an ability user in the human federal government. Although she knew my identity, she never exposed it. Instead, she even helped me cover up until I was put on trial. Unfortunately, the knowledge faction couldn't withstand the pressure in the end. Finally, I was killed by my own sister for the greater good, dying on the execution platform. And until just now, Chen Ge had been using her ability to disguise her identity. Coupled with her terrifying level 40 strength, it's no wonder even the system didn't doubt the mayor's identity. Thinking about this, I asked the question that had been on my mind. Hasn't the insect swarm apocalypse even broken out yet? How did you develop your ability to such a high level? When you became part of the insect race in your previous life, you probably didn't learn about the Great War in 1999, right? Originally, I signed a confidentiality agreement with the authorities, swearing not to mention that incident back then. But after all, you're my beloved Lord Lin Mo, so none of that matters anymore. In 1999, the insect swarm launched an invasion against humanity. But after a fierce battle, humanity finally won in the end. After that, everyone's memories were erased, except for a few original awakened ones, of course. I frowned and looked at the Lolita girl in front of me. So what's your purpose in seeing me? Chen Gei, the little fangirl, blinked her big eyes. Of course, it's to help you regain your strength from your previous life. I'm your most loyal supporter, after all. Even though the girl spoke so eloquently, I always felt her words were empty, making them sound insincere. Chen Ge stood up with a smile. Lord Lin Mo, come with me. When the two of us walked through the corridor to the room, we saw a total of 4 people tied up inside. One was a young man in a cyan suit, 2 young girls with different hairstyles, and among them was an uncle in a military uniform. I checked the attribute bars of the other 2. One was a brainworm matriarch, and the other was a jumpworm matriarch. But without exception, all of them were stuck at level 19. Yan Liang and Yan Xiao Ai immediately showed expressions of anger. You little rascal! This morning you were discussing with us about joining forces against Chen Gei, but in the end you turned around and collaborated with him to betray us. Faced with their unwarranted accusations, I could only shrug. I was also captured and brought here. Why are you scolding me? Is there something wrong with you? While Yan Liang and his daughter were still in a daze, Chen Gei, the mastermind, finally spoke up. Dear Lord Lin Mo, 3 insect matriarchs have been prepared for you. Please enjoy your meal to your heart's content. Yan Liang was so scared that he wet his pants. Hey, Lin Mo. We're allies, aren't we? You wouldn't really plan to eat me and my daughter, would you? Yan Xiaoai also forced a smile uglier than crying. Sister Lin Mo, you're such a kind person. Please don't eat me, okay? I even made coffee for you yesterday. Although the 3 insect matriarch cores I had long desired were right in front of me, I couldn't feel the slightest joy, because this feeling of having my fate controlled by others made me, who had been an insect matriarch for 2 lifetimes, very unhappy. But Chenge definitely has her own scheme right now, so she can't possibly be this kind-hearted. Chenge, you go out first. I don't like it when someone is watching while I'm eating. Upon hearing this, the girl nodded obediently. Understood, Lord Lin Mo. Then she slowly closed the door and walked out. Next, I looked at the 4 people with a blank expression. After all, these insect matriarch cores were delivered right to my door. I just needed to complete the system's assigned task. Sister, if you want to eat someone, eat my dad. He's an awakened one. His meat tastes really good. Yan Liang looked at his daughter in shock. You ungrateful brat! I even risked my life to find insect matriarch cores for you, and took you around to eat people. Is this how you repay your dad? Yan Xiaoai snorted, paying no attention to his anger. Didn't I give you an ability? The contract we signed already evened things out, okay? Watching this loving father and filial daughter scene, the corner of my mouth twitched, but I still took the 3 insect matriarch cores. Congratulations on completing the advancement task. Collect 3 insect matriarch cores. Break the genetic lock. Enter the next stage. Detected that the number of your offspring exceeds 10 million. Level successfully reached level 30. At the same time, a follow-up task popped up again on the system panel. Survive the night. In Chenge's hands, your little fangirl Chenge seems to be hatching a plot. Only by surviving from her? Can you become the final winner in the apocalypse? Sure enough that Chenge had ulterior motives all along. In short, next I just need to take her down. Thinking about this, I turned my gaze back to the others. Although the man in the green suit and another girl were dead, I sneered at Yan Xiaoai beside me. Hurry up and wake up. Stop pretending to be dead. It turned out that after my level increased, I finally saw clearly her detailed ability, the Hell Pig bloodline, which actually had the ability to revive. Even after death, she could be reborn once every month. Yan Xiaoai immediately dropped the act. No more pretending. Did you take my core only after finding out about this? I scratched my cheek, feeling a little embarrassed. Well, you can think of it that way if you want. Just then, Chenge pushed the door open again. Seeing this, Yan Liang and his daughter quickly closed their eyes and pretended to be dead. They knew exactly how strong Chenge was. If she wanted to kill them, it would be as easy as crushing 2 ants. Lord Lin Mo, have you finished your meal? If so, please come with me. I didn't refuse and followed her, because I for one wanted to find out what this woman was really up to. On the other side, Yan Liang and Yan Xiaoai finally let out a sigh of relief. Dad, let's run quickly! They're fighting among gods. Let's not get involved. Yan Xiaoai pulled Yan Liang and planned to escape. But just then, Yan Liang noticed the note I had left on the ground. After reading it, he knew it was time to choose a side. On the other side, on the city's highway. Dear Lord Lin Mo, you're curious about what I plan to do tonight, aren't you? So are you going to tell me about your plan? It turned out that, in her previous life, Chenge had followed me and joined the federal government, preparing to lead humanity to defeat the insect swarm together. But who would have thought that after I was ruthlessly executed by my sister, human civilization collapsed within 3 months? Upon hearing this, I felt confused. Logically speaking, with the technological level back then, and the impressive strength of the awakened team, even if all the insect swarm rulers joined forces to attack, they couldn't have destroyed humanity in 3 months. Chenge sneered and explained, actually, the Human Federation destroyed itself. When you were still alive, you formulated laws that not only restricted the privileges of awakened ones, but also allowed ordinary people to live in peace. But who knew that after Lin Yu executed you, she led the awakened ones to abuse their privileges? They not only imprisoned ordinary people like livestock, but also hunted them for fun. In the end, ordinary people and awakened ones completely broke off, breaking out into an unprecedentedly brutal battle. To make matters worse, several powerful insect factions took advantage of the chaos, and humanity was finally slaughtered in a very short time. In the end, I couldn't escape my fate of falling either, and my younger sister was even brutally violated and killed by those beasts. After hearing about her tragic experience, I suddenly felt that being betrayed was nothing, but Chen Gei's expression was surprisingly calm at this moment, as if she was telling someone else's story. But since that day, I have been reborn, and now I have a new goal. As she spoke, she gently pulled down her clothes, revealing the insect swarm mark carved on her chest. Destroy the tyranny of humanity. Establish the strongest insect swarm. Lord Lin Mo. You also need to change now. I admire your actions in your previous life, and I know you've decided to take revenge in this life, but your soul is still human after all. You can't break free from the constraints and flaws of human nature. Sooner or later, you will repeat the same mistakes, and finally fail because of your humanity. So, as long as we replace your consciousness with the swarm will, you will become a true killing machine, and at that time I will follow you forever, cutting through those hypocritical awakened ones. Upon hearing this, I finally understood Chen Gei's purpose tonight. But isn't this just possession? If I do this, what's the difference between that and being dead? Seeing this, I couldn't help but say coldly, Chen Gei, what if I say I don't want to be possessed by the swarm will? Lord Lin Mo, that's not up to you. If you try to run, I'll break your legs. When she spoke, there was no hesitation at all, even with a hint of a yandere smile. Soon the two of us arrived at a magnificent Taoist temple. Although I didn't know what was going to happen next, I still got out of the car calmly. At this moment, Chen Gei was as well behaved as a clingy kitten, holding onto my arm in a dependent manner. However, this kind of behavior that should have been comforting now made me feel extremely disgusted. Chen Gei, let me tell you, I don't like you. I hate you very much. I'm annoyed by you. I don't care what your plan is. Stay the hell away from me. But the obsessed Chen Gei didn't care about any of this. Lord Lin Mo, quarrels are a sign of affection. Scolding means love. The more you scold me, the more it means you love me. The more you care about me, slurp. While she was holding me, I took out my phone, unlocked it, and checked the time. Based on the time, Yan Ling and his daughter should have found Su Xuer and Lin Xue, according to the instructions on the note. If they could come, our chances of winning should be quite high. However, Chen Gei didn't seem to care about my actions at all. She was very confident in her own strength, believing that no matter what I did, it wouldn't affect her plan tonight at all. The two of us walked like this into the main hall of the Taoist temple. In front of us stood 3 towering statues, which were Taisheng Laojun, Lingbao Tianzun, and Yuanxi Tianzun, respectively. But their appearances looked very strange, even with disgusting crawlers attached to them. At the same time, there was an eerie, twisted magic circle on the ground. Then Chen Gei bowed to the strange 3 pure ones in front of her, while murmuring strange incantations non-stop. Jini Taimei, urgently as per the decree of Yuanxi Shangdi. Soon the magic circle started to spin slowly. At this moment, I also looked up and noticed that the sky outside the temple, which had been dark just now, turned into a sea of blood in the next second. Even the moon in the sky turned crimson red. I realized something was wrong, turned around and tried to retreat. But Chen Gei's hand grabbed me tightly. Lord Lin Mo, tonight you won't be able to go anywhere. Tonight is the night you transcend mortality with your physical body. The night you become the swarm will, and you will become my master. And I will swear my loyalty to you. Chen Ge gently pinched my cheek, her eyes filled with amusement. Don't worry, you will definitely be the best vessel for the swarm will. As her words fell, the scene before my eyes only grew more blurred. It felt as if some celestial spiritual stone had entered my mind. But this must be the erosion of the swarm will. In my previous life, it was only with my tier 5 strength and unwavering willpower that I barely withstood the invasion of the swarm will. Yet now my gene lock has only reached tier 2. I wasn't sure if I could survive this time. But with the system's existence, maybe it wouldn't be a problem. Soon I lost consciousness and collapsed to the ground. Chenga gently helped up her idol who had fallen. Pink hearts even sparkled in her eyes. Hehe, my dear Lord Lin Mo. Even when unconscious, you're still so adorable. Though I'm not a little girl, you know. But since Lord Lin Mo has become a girl, as long as it's still Lord Lin Mo themselves, gender doesn't matter at all. Chengo looked at that peerless, sleeping face. Blushing, she wanted to lean in for a kiss. But just as Chen Gei slowly moved closer, the distant wail of a police siren suddenly sounded. Police. A vice raid, so it turned out. Yan Liang and his daughter had finally arrived with the agents. At that moment, Yan Liang held a megaphone and shouted, Chen Gei, you're surrounded by us. We order you to give up resistance. Surrender immediately. Only then can we treat you leniently. Though Yan Liang didn't know Chen Gei's plan, the other party was a complete lunatic. If Chen Gei's plan succeeded, then all humans in Zerg in the city next would have no good end. Hearing this, Chen Gei gently placed me on the ground and settled me properly. Then she stood up, unleashing all her supernatural powers. She clearly saw every detail inside and outside the Taoist temple. This Yan Liang guy actually brought all the people from the 9th military region here. After saying that, Chen Gei stuffed her hands in her pockets and walked step by step toward the door. Oh well, Lord Lin Mo still needs some time anyway. I'll just use you guys to kill time and amuse myself for now. Clearly there were at least 50 people outside. Yet in the face of this charming crimson-haired girl before them, they all unconsciously stepped back 2.5 steps. Only because Chen Gei exuded a terrifying aura like the god of death. Someone like them, mere cannon fodder, could never stand against her. Even Yan Liang and his daughter were breaking out in cold sweats now. After all, they'd just been utterly beaten by her moments ago. One of the team members looked at Yan Liang in panic. Team leader, that woman seems a bit crazy. Are we really a match for her? Yan Liang himself had no confidence either, but they'd already come. They couldn't just ruin the morale at the last minute. So Yan Liang mustered his courage and said solemnly, "This is a battle of numbers, 50 against 1. The advantage is ours. If each of us lands one punch, we'll beat her to death." Hearing this, Chen Gei crossed her arms and sneered. Who knew team leader Yan was such a good joke teller? Each of us lands one punch and beats her to death? How hilarious. The others hadn't yet realized the seriousness of the situation. They didn't hesitate and immediately attacked Chen Gei. But no one expected that the Esper who first used mental attacks would suddenly collapse dead with blood gushing from his 7 orifices the next second. Then, accompanied by a crisp crack, Chen Gei simply threw a punch and snapped a burly guy's arm right off. The others were so scared their pants were soaked. Chen Gei before them was simply a monster. It turned out they weren't surrounding Chen Gei at all. Instead, she alone was surrounding over 50 of them. Yet facing these agents who wanted to run, Chen Gei suddenly sneered, "Since you're here, don't be in a hurry to leave." With that, her graceful figure charged forward. In the chaos, some were torn to pieces alive. Others were cut in half. In the blink of an eye, only a dozen or so people remained on the field. I originally wanted to play a little longer, but turns out this is all the strength you have? Meanwhile, on the other side, the swarm will finally entered my spiritual world and took the form of a black figure. But just as it was about to erode this domain, a girl's voice suddenly rang out. "Who gave you permission to touch my things?" The swarm will looked in the direction of the voice, only to see, not far ahead in the sea of spirit, countless crimson Zerg corpses piled up like mountains. A white-haired girl appeared on the ancient sea throne. Though she looked exactly like me, the swarm will had an acute awareness, and this aura was actually the same as its own. Both came from the supreme will of the swarm. What was even more bizarre, however, was that the other party seemed to have gone through countless cycles of life and death, bearing unimaginable great obsessions and karmic ties. Her strength was unfathomable. The white-haired girl felt annoyed at being stared at by the black figure. Then she snapped angrily. "Who gave you permission to look me in the eye?" "Wretch!" With that, she gently lifted a hand. The bone shards beneath her seemed to come alive. In the next second, they transformed into a giant dragon of bones. The swarm will was so scared its pants were soaked. If it stayed any longer, it would definitely die. But just as it was about to flee, the bone dragon suddenly blocked its path, then swallowed it in one bite. At that moment, the white-haired girl also puffed out her cheeks, as if she herself had swallowed the swarm will. Her mouth movements synchronized with the bone dragon's. After chewing the black figure in her mouth, she swallowed it down. Hey, you know what? It's surprisingly crispy, tastes like chicken, delicious. After saying that, the white-haired girl stood up gently and temporarily took control of my spirit. And body, someone wants to let another swarm will seize my body? Then I, the Lord, will personally see who that little cutie is. The battle on the other side was also drawing to an end. Chen Gei looked at Yan Liang and his daughter not far away and sneered, "What do you think this place is? You can come whenever you want and leave whenever you want." Amidst her laughter, she finally unleashed her ability. Blind aphasia kicked in right away. Several people's perceptions were immediately reversed. For a moment, they couldn't tell east from west. The police cars that had arrived just in time crashed into each other, one after another. Then Chen Gei opened her jade-like hand and closed it again. The crashed cars exploded one after another like dominoes. Yan Liang and his daughter in the cars met their end then and there, After finishing off everything, Chenggu turned around, planning to return to Lord Lin Mo. It should be almost over by now, right? Just thinking about Lord Lin Mo becoming the supreme swarm will, standing high above, and stepping on her head with those jade-like feet. A flush of excitement couldn't help but appear on Chengai's face. Oh my, that would be so thrilling. But just then, a dense swarm of spiders blocked her way. A look of disappointment immediately appeared on Chengai's face. Why is everyone so ignorant? Daring to interrupt my private time with Lord Lin Mo. The person before her was none other than my precious daughter. Lin Jie pointed at Chengge and scolded loudly. You bad woman! Give my mom back right now! Chengge crossed her arms and sneered. Lord Lin Mo doesn't need nuisances like you. You're nothing but inferior creatures. When she successfully merges with the swarm will, I will merge with Lord Lin Mo, and together we'll create stronger offspring. Now, let me clean up defective products like you for her. Hearing this, Lin Xi was utterly devastated. Her mentality collapsed on the spot. She flew into a rage instantly. You liar! Don't hurt my mom! Take this! Take this! Take this! The next second, Lin Xu extended her spider claws and charged forward. Yet under Chen Gei's blind aphasia ability, Lin Xu's fierce assault instantly became weak and powerless. Then Chen Gei waved her hand and slapped Lin Xue to the ground. It turned out blind aphasia was a rule-based ability. Under the rules, all resistance was futile. But even though the lowly had suffered a heavy blow, she still didn't back down at all. Anger filled the chubby face of the young girl. Little one, you're only level 10 or so now. You haven't even touched the threshold of Gene Lock Tier 1. And you dare to challenge me? How naive. Hearing this, Lin Xue clenched her teeth. If brute force won't work, then I'll use my wits. With that thought, she planned to use illusions for a last-ditch effort. But the huge gap in mental power still crushed her without mercy. Chenju's hand tightly gripped Lin Xue's neck. She intended to kill Lin Xue little by little like this. Besides wanting to find some amusement, most of it came from feelings of jealousy. She didn't want this lowly to get more of Lord Lin Mo's love. But suddenly, a deafening bang echoed out. The Taoist temple behind them collapsed in an instant. All the eerie sculptures were crushed to dust. Then a white-haired girl walked slowly out of the ruins. What the hell do you think you are? Who do you think you are to snatch my body? Hearing this, Chen Gei looked at the girl in great surprise. She could clearly feel Lord Lin Mo was different from before. Now she exuded not only violence and killing intent, but her strength had also reached an unimaginable realm. It must be because she had fully merged with the swarm's collective will. Thinking this, Chenggu immediately bowed and saluted, welcoming Lord Lin Mo. However, the girl in front of her just let out a cold snort. You're the one who wanted someone else to seize my body, right? Why would you ask that, Lord Lin Mo? Before Chenggu could think more, the white-haired girl gently lifted her hand, and Chengai's body was easily lifted into the air. By the time she realized something was wrong, her body had already been split evenly in two. In the next second, Chen Gei's body regenerated again in the distance. It turned out, she had hastily activated her ability blind aphasia before dying, suggesting to herself that she hadn't died. So even if torn apart, she could recover again. Didn't you already merge with the collective will? I'm on your side. The white-haired girl didn't want to waste words with Chen Gei. This time she gathered all the spider corpses on the ground, forming a gigantic creature hundreds of meters tall, which lunged forward to bite. Seeing this, Chen Ge knew escape was impossible. But strangely enough, none of her abilities worked on the white-haired girl. It seemed Lord Lin Mo had broken through to Gene Lock Tier 9. For this reason, Chen Ge couldn't even shake the other summoning creature. But why wasn't Lord Lin Mo seized? And why did she still exude the aura of the swarm's collective will? At this moment, Chen Ge seemed to figure something out. A pleased smile suddenly appeared on her lips. So, everything was under your control all along, Lord Lin Mo? Looking at the giant spider's abyss-like mouth right in front of her, Chen Ju calmly closed her eyes. Lord Lin Mo, do you want to eat me? If you do, that's fine too. As her words fell, the giant spider's mouth swallowed Chen Ge in one bite. The white-haired girl's jade-like mouth also chewed in sync, only after confirming she had completely absorbed the other. Did she finally pat her stomach and sit down against the ruins? At the same time, a white-haired lowly trotted over happily, then pounced into her arms in one go. Mom, I knew you wouldn't leave me! Since the girl hadn't seized the body, but possessed it in a spiritual form, every second the white-haired girl maintained this state, consumed massive amounts of mental power, so she looked at the lowly in her arms. Planning to return the body to its rightful owner, soon I felt like I'd had a dream. During it, I ate a lot of chicken-flavored midnight snacks, and an angry-looking girl appeared in front of me. After cleaning up your mess this time, there won't be a next time. With that, the girl grabbed my shoulder and pulled me up. Got it. As a feeling of falling into an abyss hit, I woke up instantly the next second. Mom, what's wrong with you? Xiaozek saw me looking dazed, and couldn't help waving her small hand in front of me. Ah, it's nothing, I said, pulling my daughter into my arms. Linjue stuck out her tongue as her mother petted her. I'm sorry, Mom, because of my wrong decision earlier. Many brothers and sisters lost their lives. Hearing this, I looked at the spider meat paste all around. Then at the system. The number of purple points had dropped by more than half. My heart skipped a beat. Oh my God. The sky is falling. Why are all my children dead? At this moment, I felt like Mr. Krabs who'd lost his money. Powerless, I collapsed onto the ground. Woohoo, my babies died so horribly. But as I cried, I realized something was wrong. Why does my stomach feel a bit full? Xiaoxue, did Mom eat something just now? Linju pouted and replied, Mom, you ate that bad red-haired woman just now. Hearing this, I was instantly shocked. That woman was a strong fighter who'd broken through Gene Lock Tier 3. How on earth did I do that? But just then, the system sent a notification. Congratulations! You have completed the advancement mission. Survived the night against Chengge, since you killed and devoured the mission target. This counts as exceeding the mission requirements. Reward granted S-rank bloodline evolution. The reward will be issued after you give birth to your baby. I looked at the system notification. Right away, a dark vein popped up on my forehead. The reward has to wait until I have a baby? Did the system come from the pronatal office? Is this year's performance pressure really that high? Seeing there was no other way, I found a hiding spot, then transformed into a large white spider and crouched down. As a warm, comfortable feeling spread through my body, I actually gave birth to a spider egg over a meter long. It was bright red all over, and looked extremely eerie. Could this be that woman? Sure enough, after the red egg trembled a few times, a fleshy mass covered in twisted, strange tentacles broke out of the shell immediately. At the same time, the system panel popped up, showing the target's attributes. Name, Chengge. Bloodline, Black Goat Cub Zerg. Level, LV30. Offspring level cannot exceed the brood mother's. His level has been restricted and lowered. I opened my cherry-like mouth in surprise, because the fleshy mass transformed in a black light. Then a red-haired lowly walked out of it. When the lowly saw me, her eyes lit up. Then she pounced into my arms, happily saying, "My dear Lord Linmo, now you're my mom! Mom! My sweet mom!" Hearing this, I pushed the redhead away in disgust. Stay away from me. Who's your mom? Just thinking about how this person had killed hundreds of thousands of my offspring, my stomach burned with anger. As the saying goes, cutting off someone's livelihood is like killing their parents. Unexpectedly, another system notification popped up. Detected a rare variant individual among your offspring? Black Goat Cub. Exclusive reward obtained. Your next litter of offspring will collectively gain a special ability. Gene Lock Breakthrough to Tier 3. Your level has reached level 32. Wow, in just 1 minute. I'd experienced all emotions. Joy, anger, sorrow, and happiness. Then my attitude did a 180-degree turn. I raised my hands and gently placed them on Chengge's shoulders. My eyes filled with motherly kindness again. Little one, since Mom gave birth to you, you'll be Mom's good child from now on. Follow Mom, and you'll have meat to eat. Got it? Chengge, who had felt disappointed just now, instantly had stars in her eyes. Did Lord Lin Mo learn Sichuan opera face-changing too? At this moment, I planned to first adjust my state well, then think about the evolution matter. Then I walked out of the ruins with the red head. However, Linjue also noticed this person, and her anger instantly spiked. 8 spider claws suddenly extended from behind her. But before she could launch an attack, Chenggu controlled her and disoriented her. I watched the two messing around, and let out a soft sigh. Little one stopped for a moment. Xiaojiu, no matter what, she's your older sister. You need to get along well with her. Don't bully her from now on. Hearing this, Chengge obediently deactivated her ability. Yes, Mom. Xiaojiu, she'll be your younger sister from now on. Sister, don't bully your younger sister either. Hearing this, Lin Shui pouted, looking a little wronged. But Mom, this person is a bad woman. She thought about how Chengge had cruelly killed so many of her younger brothers and sisters not long ago. That was really over the top. However, I comforted her alone through mental communication. Don't worry, Xiaoxue. I know you hate Chengge, but you must always remember, never let others know what you're thinking. Wait until the right time comes. Then you can take revenge on Chengge. Hearing this, Lin Shui finally nodded in relief. Then she forced a smile, holding out her hand to Chengge. Then let's get along well from now on. Sister. A full smile also appeared on Chenge's face. She reached out, shook Lin Shui's hand, and nodded. From now on, we'll be a loving family. My dear elder sister, who was just born a week ago, and just like that, I had another daughter. This turn of events was truly incredible. The next day, at the headquarters of the 9th Military Region, having been knocked unconscious by some force the night before, Su Shuir slept until noon before finally waking up, while I had been waiting outside the ward early in the morning. But the moment she saw the white-haired girl walk in, stars sparkled in Su Shuir's eyes. Sister Lin Mo came to see me. Xiao Su, I'm glad you're okay. With that, I handed her a bowl of wontons. Sister Mo, how's team leader Yan doing? We must let him know about this. But after speaking, she noticed my strange expression. It turned out Yan Liang and Xiao Ai had both been killed. Even all the espers from the 9th Military Region were dead. Hearing this, Su Shuir was completely shocked. But I didn't explain further. I simply picked up the remote and turned on the news, seeing Su Shuir was about to cry. I told her another piece of news. The military region wants me to take over as team leader here. But sister, I don't like being a leader. I just want to slack off and live a lazy life. So I recommended someone to the higher-ups. You'll be the team leader of the 9th Military Region's Special Operations Team. You'll be in full charge of everything from now on. My dear team leader, Su. As soon as these words were spoken, Su Shuir froze completely. Seeing her look of disbelief, I directly took out the official appointment letter. The scene shifted. I turned to the two lollies and asked, "Did you do as I told you? Work hard to breed and expand our swarm?" Hearing this, Lin Shui and Chengge spoke in unison. Of course, Mom. In fact, my goal was clear. Search for all swarms in other suitable areas. Whenever we find one, we must destroy and devour it immediately. Eat the brood mother's core. Strengthen our strength. Now I've decided to take a quality-focused approach. I'll only give birth to elite individuals like Lin Shui and Chengge. Have fewer, better children. Live a happy life. As for the other offspring, I'll leave them to the two of you to manage. The finest ingredients often require the simplest cooking methods. After being busy for several days, Chef Lin decided to let the children help with the work. After rewarding them with head pats, I sent them off to carry out their mission. We've successfully taken control of the 9th Military Region. Our next target is the higher-ranking military regions, as well as the federal government, and the wealthy conglomerates. Right now, there are only 5 days left until the swarm apocalypse. When the time comes, I'll be the hidden hand controlling everything from behind the scenes. I spread my arms, letting the rain hit my pretty face. Then a cold smile curved up my lips again. Come to think of it, I've been so busy with my own things lately, I almost forgot about that person. Well, now that sister has free time, I'll come spend time with Xiao Yu from now on. After going out, I took a taxi straight to the city. I even went to KFD first and ordered a 10-person meal. But just as I walked out of the fried chicken restaurant, while I was thinking about my future plans, I heard a familiar girl's voice. Excuse me. Have you seen this boy? He's my brother. He hasn't come home in a long time. I looked in the direction of the voice. It was a beautiful girl with long black hair. She was holding a stack of flyers in her hand, asking every passerby she met. But this person was a total ingrate. If you feed a stray dog a bone, it will at least wag its tail at you. But when I was kind to her, all I got in return was betrayal. A smile curled up my lips. So this is where you've been hiding. My lovely little sister. At this moment, Lin Yu was sitting on a bench by the road. After handing out flyers all day, she felt exhausted, ever since her brother Lin Mo disappeared. She hadn't found the slightest clue about him. The girl muttered with a somewhat dissatisfied expression, "I've been working so hard to find him. Why won't he show up? Or could it be, brother? He's already regained his memories from his previous life?" Thinking this, the girl shook her head vigorously. Right now, she was just an ordinary person with no supernatural powers. If she didn't have her brother's protection, once the swarm apocalypse broke out in 5 days, she would definitely become food for the Zerg. For this reason, Lin Yu had been working hard lately, hoping to find her brother and be protected by him. Could it be that the Zerg she executed back then was really her brother? If that's the case, then even if she pretended to be pitiful in front of him, Her brother might not forgive her. Just thinking about this made Lin Yu feel physically and mentally exhausted. But just then, a cute voice came from ahead. "Are you looking for someone?" With that, I took a flyer from her hand. Lost in thought, I might have seen him, maybe, possibly. Lin Yu listened to this vague answer. Her originally excited heart now felt like it had been doused with cold water. Either you've seen him or you haven't. What do you mean by might, maybe, possibly? If you've seen my brother... Can you take me to find him? I heard Lin Yu's words, then nodded. And so, Lin Yu followed me around the entire city, but in the end, there was still no clue about me. After being in the rain all day, Lin Yu finally couldn't keep up the pretense. She questioned me with a hint of anger in her voice. "Hey, are you messing with me on purpose? If you haven't seen my brother, then don't waste my time." I smiled and turned around to look at her. "There we go. This is your real personality, isn't it?" My little sister Lin Yu. As soon as these words were spoken, Lin Yu was instantly shocked. "Wait, how do you know my name? That's not right." Something's very, very wrong. Lin Yu felt a chill down her spine. She took a small step back. "Excuse me. Have we met before?" A cold smile curved up my lips. "Met before, not just met. We used to be inseparable. You followed me around like a little tail. Have you forgotten all that?" As I spoke, my appearance changed slightly, turning into a handsome young man with a delicate face. However, there was a hint of resentment in the young man's eyes. "My dear little sister, how could you forget even your own brother? But it's okay now. You can call me sister too if you want." A brother who had been dead for 10 years suddenly showed up, and even turned into a curvy female Zerg. Although the sister's first reaction was fear, there was more guilt on her pretty face, because the brother in front of her was the one she had executed with her own hands. Little did she know, both of them had been reborn before the apocalypse. The brother had taken the lead in completing the accumulation from his previous life, while the sister was still a weakling with no strength to defend herself. In order to take revenge, I decided to keep her alive and torture her slowly. At this moment, Lin Yu was so scared that she wet her diaper. "You monster! Stay away from me!" But all around were empty alleys. No one would come to save her at all. I turned into the white-haired girl again and sighed. "In the last life, you had the same disgusted expression. You also called me a monster in such an angry voice. To be honest, I'm really disappointed." Only then did Lin Yu realize that her brother had turned into a Zerg first, so her voice started to stutter. "Brother, I didn't really want to execute you. It's all the fault of those people from the Super Sound Association. They showed me a video back then. In the video, brother, after you were eaten by the Zerg took your form." Lin Yu spoke so vividly, as if she had really experienced that incident herself. But I saw through the lie in Lin Yu's heart. I immediately raised my hand and tightly choked her neck, threatening her to tell the real reason, looking at the ruthless devil in front of her. Lin Yu, driven by a strong desire to survive, could only spill everything. "Actually, I knew you were the real brother a long time ago, but the people from the Super Sound Association made a promise. As long as I assisted them in executing you, you could help me become the federal ruler, to become the ruler who truly saves all people. Of course, the reason for doing this is also simple. Although I seem to be the supreme ruler on the surface, in fact, everyone has to act according to your will. Only without you can I truly hold power." Tears streamed down my cheeks tonight. Originally, I thought I could accept the betrayal, but after hearing the truth, my heart still felt broken. The last spark of humanity in my heart was also extinguished. At this moment, only endless coldness remained in my eyes. I got the answer I wanted. With that said, I threw Lin Mo to the ground. "If that's the case, then I won't feel guilty about anything I do to you." Only then did Lin Yu realize she had been tricked. "You liar! Full of lies! You were just tricking me into talking the whole time." Hearing her sister's scolding, I sneered immediately. "Compared to lying, I'm not even a fraction as good as you. But I will let your body and soul both suffer a good deal of torture. Sometimes death is actually a merciful release." We ignored our sister's pleas in despair, and directly placed our hand on the girl's forehead. Earlier, Lin Yu's superpower was the mythical Sphinx ability. She could see the past and the future. It seems her betrayal was definitely not just due to being instigated by others. Instead, she had always clearly known many things. In this life, I plan to torture Lin Yu slowly. First of all, I can't let her be as strong as before, to become an unstable factor in the situation. And the Zerg Queen can also sign a contract with humans, granting the other party superpowers within the scope of authority. This time, what I gave her was the self-healing ability, As long as it's not a fatal injury, she can recover slowly. She can feel the pain without dying. At this time, a red-haired lowly walked out of the dark. Mom, are you sure you don't want to kill her? This woman was so hateful in the last life. Lin Yu trembled and kept stepping back. Seeing that the other party didn't recognize her, Chen Gu immediately showed a playful smile. Isn't this Lord Swordbearer? You really have a bad memory. Earlier, because I opposed you executing Lord Lin Mo, you found those scumbags from the Super Sound Association. They not only tormented my sister to death in front of me, but also cruelly tortured me to death afterwards. Let me put it this way. Does that ring a bell? With that said, before Lin Yu could defend herself, Chen Gu received my silent approval and started to act. Be careful, don't play her to death. After I turned around and left, Chen Ji's body was instantly covered with terrifying cracks. Immediately after, countless black tentacles stretched out from them. Well then, Lord Swordbearer, let me take you through everything my sister and I went through in the last life. Hearing this, Lin Yu was so scared that she wet her diaper. Chen Gu didn't care about her pleas at all. As a woman herself, she had no mercy for beauty. In the end, only the girl's shrill screams echoed in the alley. Later, I don't know how much time passed. A disheveled girl sat in the police station. 2 policemen in front of her were taking notes. Did you get violated by someone? Lin Yu shook her head in panic, her eyes vacant. They are monsters disguised as humans. In a few days, a Zerg plague will break out all over the world. By then, all civilizations will be devoured by them. The 2 policemen looked at each other, only thinking that Lin Yu was mentally unstable, because the inspection showed that her body had no signs of being violated, and she was still a virgin. Isn't this just someone with paranoid delusions of persecution, coming to the police station to file a false report? There really are monsters. Everyone will die by then. You have to believe me. The old policeman and the female officer exchanged glances, then couldn't help but laugh. I'm telling you seriously. Can't you be serious? We have received professional training. We usually don't laugh, unless we can't hold it in. After saying that, the 2 couldn't hold back their laughter again. Lin Yu had already gone through that terrible experience. Now being laughed at by the 2, she felt both ashamed and angry, so she could only turn around and leave the police station in annoyance. She knew that relying on these people was useless. Fortunately, there was the 9th Military Region outside, an organization specifically dealing with abnormalities. As long as she reported the situation to those people, Lin Mo and Chen Go would be targeted and wanted. A cold smile appeared on Lin Yu's face. Brother, it would have been better if you had killed me, but choosing to continue torturing me, that's your biggest mistake. Wait for your slow death. On the other side, I sat on the sofa eating French fries, and I was in control of every move my sister made. At this time, Su Shuir leaned over and asked, Sister Mo, you have a sister too? You 2 must have a close relationship, right? I nodded, saying that we indeed got along well. So well that I want to tear each other into pieces. My sister actually has paranoid delusions of persecution. She spends the whole day thinking about being attacked by monsters. Even later, she even regarded me as a monster. So Xiaosu, can you help me? Contact the best mental hospital in the city? Increase the dosage to help me cure her, okay? Hearing this, Su Shuir said she would take care of everything. Just to be safe, I still cast a blindly trusting buff on Xiaosu. She wouldn't have any doubts about the next actions. Originally, Lin Yu didn't care about being sent to a mental hospital, as long as in 2 days they would know the truth. But at this moment, a voice almost made her break out in a cold sweat. Xiao Yu, it seems you're living quite comfortably here. Hearing this, the girl jumped up from the bed suddenly. Don't come over! Scream, scream louder! Even if you scream your throat hoarse, no one will come to help you. With that said, I looked at the psychiatrist beside me, Dr. Chen. The patient's mood is quite unstable. Let's increase her medication dosage first and see. Hearing this, Chen Ge immediately understood, and a smile appeared on her lips. Understood, Chief Psychiatrist. Soon, with the help of 2 large doses of psychiatric medication, Lin Yu's eyes immediately became dull. Looking at her current state, I felt very satisfied. The next target is that man who keeps hoarding supplies. Black guy. It's time to hand over your money now. I turned my head to look at Lin Shui and asked, how's the investigation into young Master Wang's information going? Lin Geke nodded and reported to her mother, that man surnamed Wang keeps purchasing various daily necessities and food. He even bought guns, weapons, tanks, and rocket launchers. I stroked my chin, neither affirming nor denying. Although that guy's preparations were quite thorough, My current level was something he couldn't challenge at all. Thinking of this, I said to my two lowly daughters, "You two first arrange everything in the city. When the Zergs swarm out in full force the day after tomorrow, take full control of this city. As for me, I plan to pretend to be a human survivor and infiltrate that guy with the infinite space to find some fun slowly and mess with his mind, by the way." At this moment, inside a private military base, a young man held up a wine glass and tasted red wine. Beside him were a group of powerful people who had already awakened their superpowers. He was already imagining what it would be like to be on top of the world in the doomsday. Just then, his phone suddenly rang with the voice of a mercenary. "Master Wang, someone outside wants to see you. They're from the official side, and they want to investigate us." Hearing this, Wang Yuan sneered. "After tomorrow, the doomsday will break out. What do the officials count for?" However, all the supplies had been hoarded into his storage space. Even if the officials knew he had purchased so many supplies, they could only stare helplessly, leaving empty-handed. Thinking of this, Wang Yuan, accompanied by the mercenary captain, slowly walked to the gate outside the military base. He originally thought that burly men in military uniforms would come to the door, but instead, there were two beautiful young girls in front of him. One of them was a blonde girl with a cute and playful appearance, but she didn't attract much of Wang Yuan's attention. However, the other girl with white hair and red eyes made Wang Yuan feel that her beauty was incomparable. Su Shuir also noticed his malicious gaze. She had also heard that he usually liked to chase after women, so she looked at him with some dissatisfaction. "We're here on official business. Please show some respect." I gently patted Su Shuir's shoulder, then turned to Wang Yuan and asked, "You've bought up most of the supplies in the city. Do you have any plans? As far as I know, you even bought them at 1.5 times the market price. Even if you monopolize them, you won't make much money, right?" I deliberately asked this question, pretending not to know, just planning to act like an innocent girl and have some fun with this young Master Wang. Now, I really like watching these guys who think they're the protagonists fall into despair under the torment of the villain. Listening to her question, Wang Yuan chuckled softly, then leaned over mysteriously and said, "If I told you that the doomsday will break out after tomorrow, would you two believe it?" Su Shuir frowned, completely confused, because she really had no idea about this. As for me, I pretended to be surprised. Wang Yuan shrugged, arrogantly saying, "I'm a reborn person. In one more day, the doomsday will break out. That's why I hoarded so many supplies, so much that even if everyone in this military base eats together, they won't finish it in a lifetime." After saying that, he waved his hand lightly, releasing a spatial vortex. I looked inside through the space and saw it was filled with supplies. It could be said that these resources weren't just from the entire city. They were even from more than half of the province. Don't worry, the things in the space won't deteriorate. Even if you keep them for 10 or 20 years, they'll still be as fresh as when they were just picked. What's more, there are many researchers here. Building a small ecological cycle system won't be a problem. After saying that, he asked his subordinates to show their superpowers. After watching, I immediately pretended to be an admiring fan. "Wow, you're so amazing, brother." Su Shuir saw me looking like someone who had never seen the world, and was confused for a moment. "Isn't Sister Mo a top-tier powerhouse?" At this time, Wang Yuan looked at me lecherously and said, "Tomorrow is the day the Zerg swarm breaks out. Ordinary people will definitely not escape death. But a stunning beauty like Miss Lin, isn't it a pity for you to die in the doomsday? Do you want to consider joining us and become the masters of the new world together? How about it?" Wang Yuan knew that the 9th military region was also recruiting superpower users, but in his last life, they were destroyed very quickly. It seemed like something major had gone wrong. When Su Shuir heard Wang Yuan's words, she was very dissatisfied. "Sister Mo won't like someone like you." But I interrupted her and replied, Okay. Young Master Wang is inviting us warmly. It would be too impolite for us to refuse. After all, I still wanted to sneak in and have a buffet." Hearing my answer, Wang Yuan was very happy. "Miss Lin, you've made the most correct choice. I'll arrange a nice place for you two to stay right away." But just then, I suddenly added, "If I'm gonna come, can I bring my two daughters with me?" This move almost shocked Wang Yuan, speechless. Wait, this woman looks only 18 to 20 years old. How did she suddenly become a divorced mother with 2 kids? "Brother, is that not allowed?" I tilted my head, putting on a pitiful look. Wang Yuan was initially shocked by this, but when he saw the look of disappointment in the girl's eyes, he finally had to shake his head helplessly. "Bringing kids isn't a problem. I'll send someone to pick up. Your kid's here. I shook my head like a rattle. I'll go pick up my daughters myself. They've always been afraid of strangers. If I let someone they don't know pick them up, they might get scared. Wang Yuan didn't think much about it and nodded repeatedly. If it were any other woman bringing kids, Wang Wen would definitely have lost all interest. But Lin Mo in front of him was different. Wang Yuan had never seen such a beautiful girl before. She made him unable to resist. Moreover, her 20-year-old appearance combined with a touch of married woman charm would be a fatal attraction for any man. In this way, the two successfully entered the Doomsday safe house. I have to say, Wang Yuan really got the script of the future, and also learned other people's doomsday strategies. Unfortunately, he was originally a wealthy young master from a chaebol, so his mindset was far from that of a real protagonist. If it were someone else, they would definitely not have told everything. Soon it was night. Chen Go and Lin Xue sat in the back seat of the car, but they didn't seem to get along. They kept a large distance from each other. I sat in the passenger seat, looked at them, and asked, "Did you finish everything I told you to do?" Chen Go and Lin Xue both nodded. Both of them had strictly followed the requirements and arranged the attack routes for the offspring for tomorrow. Since you've both finished your tasks, then Mom will take you to have a buffet right now. When Lin Xue and Chen Go heard this, they immediately responded excitedly. Thank you, Mother. In this way, they arrived at Wang Yuan's military base, but as soon as they got out of the car, they drooled all over the ground. After all, inside were muscular mercenaries, who looked juicy and full of meat. Just one bite would make juice burst out immediately. I leaned over to them and whispered, "You two must not reveal your identities at first." Chen Ge, who was an experienced old hand, immediately understood. I was planning to play a game. Mom, are you trying to play werewolf killing? I nodded, giving her a look that said, you get it. Chen Ge really was my little fan. They were like-minded. As for Lin Shui, she didn't understand much about this. She just wanted to gobble up the buffet. Soon, bad news came from the base. Report. Young Master Wang, we found a corpse in the base. The autopsy shows it was bitten by insects. If insects had snuck in, it meant the safe house was no longer safe. Thinking of this, Wang Yuan decided to send out the information awakened users to find the insects that had snuck into his camp and then wipe them out completely. If this isn't handled properly, we'll all die! At this moment, a young girl with awakened powers muttered unhappily, "Humph, the Emperor isn't in a hurry, but the eunuch is. Mercenaries only get a few thousand a month. Why risk our lives?" But although the girl said this, her body was honest. She got up to act, planning to check for any abnormal situations. The girl's ability was to see other people's superpowers. Admittedly, she could only see the names of the superpowers, but even a single glance was enough to identify the other person's identity. She followed the sharp sense of crisis and looked over, but noticed 3 people whose power she couldn't read. When she got closer, she realized they were the people from the 9th Military Region, although she didn't feel any danger from the blonde girl. The other 3 had question marks floating above their heads. The girl was shocked, as if she had realized something, but just as she was about to turn around and leave, she was stopped by a white-haired girl. "Little sister, don't leave yet. Why do you look so flustered?" A cold voice suddenly rang in her ears. The girl only felt a slight cool touch, but when she suddenly turned around to look, she saw a pair of spider legs resting on her shoulders.